Hey guys, in today's video it's a bit of an impromptu video. I'm kind of filming and uploading it on the same day, which is not something I actually ever do. But I tweeted out a few days ago, it was on Thursday, I tweeted to a bus company called Arriva. I think it's all around England, to be honest. It might even be in Europe, I don't know, but there's this bus company in England called Arriva. And I tweeted out to them something along the lines of like, hey, I want to make a complaint because one of your bus drivers has, you know, been really creepy towards me. I don't know what exactly I said because I'm filming on my phone. I haven't done like a full-on camera setup for this video. But yeah, I tweeted that out on a Thursday. I'll explain the situation in a second. Yeah, so I tweeted that on Thursday and they said, can you message us on Facebook? And I said, yes, I'm doing that right away. So I messaged them on Facebook on the Thursday. I waited Friday, no reply, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And they don't reply on weekends and stuff. And then I had no reply yesterday, which is Monday, and I've had no reply today, which is Tuesday. So that's like 3.5 days they could have replied to me. And I tweeted out, I think on Friday it was, that if I don't get any reply from any of them by Monday, I would make a fuss about it. And their Facebook says that they typically reply within a couple of hours, and I have a Facebook page, I have a Facebook group, I very much know how that all works, you know. So they've also been on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, so it's not like they aren't active or anything. Like, since I've messaged them, they've been active and posted some stuff, so it's not like they're not active, you know. So yeah, social media is very much my job. Like, I know how it all works and what have you. What the situation is I made a video about this guy. Well, not specifically about him, but I made a video back in summer 2018 about unwanted, you know, like creepy men talking to me and stuff like that, or just unwanted attention, I don't know what you want to call it. But I mentioned this guy that I'm about to talk about in that video, so I'll leave a link down below to that for the full video. Anytime I'd get on the bus, he'd be like, alright darling, and just be inappropriate, and he'd be like, oh, you're looking nice today, how's your day been, where do you work, type thing. And he'd ask me where I work all the time. I would tell him because, like, there's not many shops in the town I work in, so he'd be able to find me, so there's just no point hiding it. So I think this was like a week ago. But I got on my bus and there was this bus driver that I'd never seen before, and I was just like, okay, cool, new dude, whatever. And I gave him my return ticket type thing and he stamped it. And then the guy that's always like, oh, hello darling, you're looking very nice, the 40-year-old, said, hey, I want to talk to you. And I was just like, okay. And he was like, come sit here. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna go sit at the back, just because I like sitting at the back and that's where I normally go, and I'll put my headphones in and just zone out from the world because it takes 30 minutes to get home type thing. So I just, you know, I'll go on my Facebook group, listen to music, whatever. So I kind of thought me saying, oh no, I'm just gonna go sit at the back would deter him from following me type thing. So I was like, oh, he's doing training because he had like a high-vis jacket on type thing. So I was like, oh, he's on duty, he's not gonna come talk to me. And he was like, okay, cool. And then he started following me to the back, and I was just like, oh my god, are you kidding? I do not want to be sitting with this guy for 30 minutes, and God knows what he's going to be saying to me type thing. So I sat down and he was like, he said his name, but I can't remember it for the life of me. Like, I just cannot remember. And he was like, what's your name? So I told him my name. I was like, my name's Lauren. And he was just like, oh, you're looking very, very nice today. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he was like, I really like you. I was just like, oh, good God. And then I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, can you not tell? And I was just like, no. And then he's like, oh, it's all about the eyes. Like, you can tell from my eyes that I like you. And I was just like, oh, okay. Like, and he started getting into like my personal space. Obviously, bus seats they're not like the most spacious thing, especially in England. I don't know what it's like in other parts of the world, but England buses are tiny. So he was like pretty much sitting next to me, and obviously he's a dude, so his legs, he was full on man spreading. So he was like quite close to me, like I could oh god, I could smell his aftershave, and God knows what it was because it smelled so bad. Yeah, I could smell it, and it was like a hot day, we were having a heat wave, and he was like sweating. I could just see every part of his face because he was so close to me. And well, anyway, so he was like, oh, can you not tell that I like you? I see you all the time. And he's like, oh, so where you working? I'm like, you already know, you've asked me so many times. I was like, Devon's. He was like, oh, I've been in Devon so many times to see you, but you've never been there. I was like, oh, I work on women's shoes. And he's a man, so he's never gonna go to the women's shoes, right? He's like, oh, I have to come and find you one day. And I'm like, oh, fine. great, cool. And then he was just like, so do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, oh yeah, I do. And he was like, oh, how long have you been with him for? And I said, oh, it'll be 5 years in May. And he was like, oh, are you gonna get married? You gonna have kids? I said, oh no, I don't really fancy the whole marriage and kids thing. And he's like, oh, me too. Oh, you're perfect. And I was just like, God. You know when you're just like, right, and like, what makes you think I'm gonna be with you type thing? Like, I've just said I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years. And then he said, so what are your interests? And I didn't say anything about doing YouTube and tattoos and stuff. I was just like, oh, you know, I like to watch films and whatever. And at this point I was kind of just like entertaining him, because I was just like, he is not gonna go away. You know, he's here for the long run. We talked about films for a good like 5-10 minutes, and then he was like, have you seen this film, this film, this film? I was like, yeah, I've seen this film, this film. And then he said, oh, do you go to the cinema a lot? And I was like, yeah, I've got one of those Cineworld cards. He was like, oh, me too, I go to the cinema like 2-3 times a week. And he said, oh, who do you go with? And I said, oh, my best friend and sometimes my boyfriend. And he was like, oh, I would love to go with you. Would you go with me? And I said, oh, no, I don't think my boyfriend would like that. Now let me just stress this to you, Liam is not that type. He would never tell me not to do something. He would never tell me not to go to the cinema with someone or whatever. Like, he would not do that. But I just use that as an excuse, and I shouldn't have to use that as an excuse. I shouldn't have to lie to tell someone to fuck off. Pretty much. Like, it's just, why are people like this? I don't understand. And then he was like, oh, your boyfriend's protective. And I said, oh, no, it's just a respect thing. And he said, well, it wouldn't mean anything. And I was just like, okay, I know, but no. And then he started talking about films again, and then he was like, so you sure I can't take you on a date? And I was just like, no. And then he was like, oh, it's such a shame. And he was like, well, if you and your boyfriend ever break up, make sure you hit me up type thing. And I was just like, how? And no. And then he was like, do you have Facebook and all this jazz? And I was like, well, I mean, obviously, who doesn't? So I said yes, and he's like, oh, I don't understand this whole Facebook thing, this whole Instagram thing, this whole social media thing. It's just pointless. There's people flashing themselves on the social medias. They have no respect for themselves or their families or their partners. And I was just like, oh my god, like, what is this? Like, who are you? He went on to say, this is the tattoo related thing, he said, oh, you have a lot of tattoos, I've seen that you have a lot of tattoos and you're getting more tattooed, because obviously I've been getting the bus for nearly like 6 years every day now, and he's been around for not very long time. Like, I think I can remember him for at least 3 years, 2-3 years he's been driving the bus I get. Not every day, like obviously they have shifts and stuff, but I've seen him quite a bit for at least the past 3 years. And he said, oh, I've seen you been getting more and more tattoos over the years, can you stop? Like, you've got enough now. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, what do you mean? And he said, well, you've got enough, like, don't go on your chest. And he said, don't get your heart tattooed. And I was just like, what do you mean don't get your heart tattooed? And he was like, well, you know, don't like someone so much that you tattoo their name on your heart. And I was just like, right. And then he was just like, I think he was kind of implying that he should be the one having his name tattooed on my heart or something. He was just like, yeah, just save that space. And I was just like, okay. And then he continued to say, you've got a lot of tattoos, don't get any more. And then he said, you're very beautiful, you're very graceful, I think you're quite a sensitive person. And I was just like, okay, no, I am not a sensitive person at all. And then he went on to say, you remind me of Princess Diana. And I was just like, cool, I remind you of a dead person, awesome, great, this is going very well for you. And then he asked me again, he said, will you go out with me? I want to take you out. And I was just like, no, I have a boyfriend. And even if I didn't have a boyfriend, I didn't say this to him, but in my head I was thinking, even if I didn't have a boyfriend, you are not my type, you are anti-tattoo, you don't want me to get any more tattoos, you are not a part of my life. And too old for me. He was like at least 40, like I was saying, and he wasn't my type looks wise. I normally am a personality person, but his personality was shit, so he had nothing going for him. Eventually I was getting closer and closer to my stop, and he knew what my stop was, because like, he, you know, I get off the bus every day, and if he's driving the bus he'll see what stop I get off at. And he's like, oh, you're getting off soon, it's been so nice talking to you, you're such a lovely lady, I wish I could take you out, I really wish you didn't have a boyfriend and stuff like this. And I was like, okay. And then my stop cover, I was like, thank fuck for that. and I got off and he let me off and he sort of like tapped me on the shoulder as I left, and I thought, oh my god, like just don't touch me. And I kind of just got off the bus and I was just like, oh good god. And then I like phoned Liam and I was just like, oh my god, help me. And he knew what bus driver I was on about as well, because he's probably made some kind of remark as I've gone on the bus, and then he's obviously been behind me, Liam's been behind me or whatever, and yeah, he knew what bus driver was on about, because he just gives off these creepy vibes. So that's that, and it's been, you know, ever since. And then yeah, it's been a few times since then and stuff. And then I think it was like only a couple of weeks ago he was training on a bus again, and then he come up to me, then he was like, I don't see you much anymore, you still working in Debenhams? And I said, no, I quit last summer. And he asked me like, what are you doing now? And I said, oh, I just said I was a freelance editor, because I didn't want to tell him what my actual job was, which is YouTube, because then it's kind of easy to find me. I was saying this to Yasmin, but if I did like makeup videos on YouTube, it would be pretty hard to find me, let's be serious. But because I do content that is about tattoos and there isn't many tattoo creators out there, it is very, very easy to find me on YouTube type thing. So I just told him I was a freelance editor. I work from home, self-employed type thing, which yeah, I kind of am. Like I edit my own videos, so I wasn't really lying, but I didn't want him to find me. And well, it's going to be very obvious now because this video is going to be out online. So, and I also told him this because the first time he was like talking to me and stuff on that time, back in last summer, he said that he doesn't have any social media and he thinks it's a waste of time and what have you. So he's against social media, so I always, you know, avoided that question because I don't want a lecture. He also told me I shouldn't carry on getting more tattoos either. So he was telling me what I should and should not do with my body. And we all know how I feel about that. So anyway, so that was 2 weeks. So the last time I spoke to him was like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Anyway, it was last Thursday, and if you watched my recent haul video, you'll know that I'm trying to be a bit more active with my life, eat better, do more exercise. Like I've joined the gym and stuff, and I've been walking everywhere. So last Thursday I walked to a town called Luton. I live in Dunstable, it's the town next to it, but I walked to Luton. There's this thing called the busway, and I can walk down the busway. It's like a guided bus type thing, so it's kind of like a tram, but buses can come on and off of it type thing, and it's just faster way to get to and from different towns and stuff like that. So I was walking down there. A lot of people do walk down there and cycle down it and stuff like that. So I was walking down there, and there's a part where it kind of leads off of the busway and you have to walk down a main road which is still next to the busway, but you're kind of on a path next to a really busy road. This road is called Hatter's Way. I'm literally giving away locations and all sorts, but I want to be really specific with this. But I was walking down this Hatter's Way, and it's a very, very busy road. It's a main road, very busy. It's by the Luton Stadium, so it can get very, very busy around there. So I was walking down there. I had my headphones on, playing around with my phone, switching tracks, and I was walking. I was like midway through Hatter's Way. It's a long road, but I was like midway through, and I could feel a car slow down next to me. Like I wasn't looking at it, but you know when you could just feel something weird going on by you, like you're in your own little world, but you can feel something not right going on beside you. It's like when someone starts staring at you and you're just like, wait, what? And whatever, you know. So I looked over, and it was an Arriva car. It's like this big silver car. It must be like an 8-seater or something. Like it looks like a van, but it hasn't got any blacked out windows. It's all windows, so it's not like a van, but it looks like a van, but it's a car. Anyway, I look over and it's a Arriva car, and I was just like, that's a bit weird. Maybe they're breaking down, whatever. And then I'm obviously still walking at this point, and this car is crawling next to me, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I looked closer, and it was this bus driver guy that has, you know, talked to me many times and asked me inappropriate questions and been really creepy. I look over and he's trying to get me in, like he's hollering me into this car, and I'm like, oh my god, absolutely not. And he kept trying to get me in, and then I just kind of, once I figured out what was going on, I just went like this to say like, fuck off, go away, like I am not getting in your car, absolutely not. So he eventually got the hint of what I was trying to say, like go away, and then he just drove off. But in that moment my heart was racing so much because I was just like, what the hell? Like, out of everything that he's done, which has been very, very creepy and inappropriate, it may not sound creepy and inappropriate to you guys, because I can imagine some of you guys have been through a lot worse, and I'm not saying this is like the worst thing ever, but you know, with all those things that he has done in the past, and you know, trying to get me to go out with him and stuff like that, I just thought the worst, like the absolute worst. As soon as he drove off, I messaged my boyfriend straight away. I was like, you know that creepy bus driver that like doesn't leave me alone? He just stopped next to me on Hatter's Way in an Arriva car trying to get me in it, and he was like, what the fuck? Like, one, you're in a business car, like it's so unprofessional. This whole thing is unprofessional. Like, one, you're training people, yet you're coming to talk to me, and I'm not like giving much conversation back. It's like one word answers and stuff like that. Like, I'm being polite because that's just who I am. I'm just like, I'm not a rude person. Like, if someone talks to me, I'm not gonna be like, go away, you know. And maybe that is my fault, I don't know, but I have said multiple times to him, no, not interested, have a boyfriend type thing. But yeah, the whole thing was just like, you're in a company car. And I'm clearly walking for a reason, you know, like he's seen me on the bus. I'm not like avoiding getting a bus, or it's not like I haven't got money for a bus, because, you know, I do. I was walking because I wanted the exercise. So to stop a car in the middle of a very, very busy road for you to try and get someone in it, it's so weird. It's just unbelievably weird to me, honestly. I don't understand. Like, I would never get in a stranger's car, and he may think he knows me, and he may think that I know him and we're like BFFs or whatever, but I don't know you. I ain't getting in your car. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I've had no reply from Arriva, because I wanted to make a complaint, because everything else he's done has been like creepy, but I've been like, you know what, for an easy life, I'm just gonna shut up and not complain about it. But this was the last straw, because it was scary. Like, I shouldn't be scared to walk down the road in case this guy pulls over in his Arriva car and tries to get me in it again, you know. I'm just so thankful that it was on a very busy road. Like, I don't think he would have tried to forcefully get me in the car, but, you know, what if I was on a very quiet street and he was there and there was no one else around? I might be being dramatic, but you just don't know, you know, you just don't know, and it's just, it's horrible. Like, it's 2019, leave women alone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've said no, I'm not interested. You know, who else is he doing this to as well? Like, is it just me? That's the reason why I wanted to make this video, because, you know, to see if any other women have gone through this. I'm going to post this video in like a group on Facebook that is for this area type thing, so maybe there's other women that have been harassed by this guy. I don't know, hopefully not, but you don't know. But what this guy looks like, in case anyone from Arriva watches this or whatever, and they've finally taken me seriously, or they actually want to listen now, or whatever the reason is they haven't replied, I don't know. But this guy is probably about 6 foot tall, maybe a little bit taller than that because I'm quite tall and he's taller than me, but I want to say around about 6 foot, bald, has like quite a perfect beard, like it's shaped like to perfection. He wears glasses, quite slim, normally either driving or training on the A bus, the 31 bus, or the F70. That's what I've seen him on. He may be on other buses, but they're the ones that I like regularly take. Well, not regularly, but they're the ones that I'm most likely to get, so I'll just throw that out there as well. I don't know, I didn't want to be a brat about it and make a video, but people like this get away with these kind of things every day, and you know, if someone's uncomfortable, they should be allowed to complain about it, you know. Like, I want to get on a bus peacefully, I don't want to be harassed by this guy, you know. At this moment, I don't want to get on a bus. I mean, luckily I am walking most places anyway now, so it's not really affecting me, but you know, sometimes I'll meet Yasmin at her work, and she works by the airport, and that is quite a walk from here. Like, that would take me 2 or so hours. I'd preferably just walk than, you know, get a bus and he might just be on it, you know. Yeah, I hope you guys can understand this upload or whatever, and I hope you guys, you know, take something from this if you're watching this like as one of my subscribers or whatever. I just hope that you guys never go through any of this, but if you do, please speak out. Just please, please, please speak out, because you can't let these people get away with it, you know. Whether it is just an inappropriate comment in a business setting, like, it's just, you're walking onto a bus and you just want to get from A to B. You don't want to be harassed by anyone, you don't want to be asked out on a date multiple times, you know, over months and months, and you definitely don't want someone driving up next to you trying to get you into their car, you know. So make sure you speak out about it, and don't leave it too late. I feel like I've definitely left it too late, you know. Something could have been done months ago, but I just wanted an easy life and to not make a fuss or whatever. But like, this is enough, you know. So you guys, please just look after you, and if you have any inappropriateness given your way from someone that works for a company or a business, you know, no matter what it is, just make sure you speak up about it, because if we stay silent, then that's how they get away with it, you know? So yeah, I think that's it for this video, and yeah, bye.